Hello and welcome to Moment of Truth on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes. Tonight, I want to talk about Cruella Braverman, and I want to go through her top 10 most horrific things that she's done. So let's just run through it really quickly. First of all, back in the year 2000, this is 23 years ago, she was accused of vote rigging when she was the head of the University Conservative Association in Cambridge. And there were union elections, and her response to these accusations of vote rigging were, "You can't prove nothing, mate. You can't prove nothing. Prove it. Prove it." Anyway, let's just fast forward a couple of decades. And she claimed to have, in an online CV, to have contributed to a legal textbook on gambling. And the actual author of this legal textbook on gambling denied her involvement, saying that she just did some photocopying. And someone said it was a dishonest statement made out of self-interest to promote her career. On the same theme, she also claimed to have defended the Ministry of Defence in the Guantanamo Bay inquiry, according to reports. Her own website, she was involved, but her name does not appear in any way on the inquiry report. Curious. And then in September 2020, when she was still our Attorney General, the government unveiled plans to give ministers sweeping powers to disapply part of the Brexit deal that Boris Johnson had signed that January. And in a select committee, 5 QCs confronted the Attorney General, the then Attorney General, Cruella, and told her that a crime which broke the law in a specific and limited way, copyright Brandon Lewis, who was then the Northern Ireland Secretary, was still a crime. It was still even if it's limited, it's still a crime. To her shock and dismay, I suppose. Fast forward a couple of years, she's sacked as Home Secretary in 2022 after just a month or something in the position, a month and a half, I think, for breaching the ministerial code. But then she was reinstated 6 days later. The reason why she had to resign is she was found to have sent an official document from her personal email address. Yeah, like possibly what they wanted to lock up Hillary Clinton for, similar sort of thing. Yeah. Anyway, so another thing that she's done since then, since becoming a horrible Home Secretary, she's referred to people crossing the English Channel in small boats as an invasion and faced accusations of using language akin to Nazi rhetoric. She was accused by a Holocaust survivor to her face of just she was asked to please tone it down. She refused to tone it down, her hateful rhetoric, and she refused to apologize as well. And also at the Conservative conference last year, she said it was her dream to deport people to Rwanda. What a weird dream, eh? Most people dream of, I don't know, owning a tropical island or scoring with Beyonce. They don't dream of deporting innocent women and children, desperate, who have fled from persecution and war, and putting them on a plane to Rwanda where they face, I don't know, potentially being shot dead for protesting against the lack of food, which happened a few years ago in Rwanda to some refugees. Yeah. Anyway, last month, bring it nearly up to date, there was a newspaper column in which she wrote, in which she described grooming gangs as groups of men, almost all British Pakistani. Which was a lie. It's a straight up lie. I mean, you call this like a dog whistle racism. It's not even a dog whistle. It's just a lie. It's just a straight up racist lie. A government review published in 2020 found that members of child grooming gangs come from diverse backgrounds. There's not enough evidence to suggest more Asian or black than any other ethnicity. She lied. She doubled down on her bigotry after that by bringing the transphobic rhetoric into play, as talking about 100% of women do not have penises. Going down this route, it's just so childish. We're in serious times. The economy is in the gutter. We're recovering from a global pandemic. Russia has invaded Ukraine. China is saber rattling over Taiwan. We don't have serious people in this government. They're running around going, "Can a woman have a penis?" This is not the way to run a country. This is not the way to run anything. And then we found out this week that she requested special treatment from her civil servants by seeking advice to avoid having to go to some kind of like driver awareness, not driver awareness, speed awareness. A speed awareness course that you have to take if you don't want points on your license. You don't want the 3 points on your license to take one of these courses. She wanted a one-to-one so she didn't have to have anyone else in the room with her, or on Zoom, I guess. I don't even know they do it in person these days. But yeah, that significantly breaches the ministerial code again. And she'll say, "Oh, but it's just I was just done speeding, you know. Other people, Andy Burnham, he got done for speeding. These other people." It's not about the speeding. It's about the fact that she asked civil servants who work for us, not for her. We pay their wages. She does not, for legal advice when they're supposed to be giving her political advice, because that's their job. It is not their job to be helping her out to save face from having to go into a room full of other people and learn how to not drive like an idiot. And today, more news comes out. A conflict of interest. Now, this is interesting because this goes back 13 years. In 2010, she set up a charity with a charity. I know, Cruella Braverman, charity. It's got to be an angle there, hasn't there? It's got to be. She set up a charity with Cherie Blair, who's married to Tony Blair. Basically, one of the things that they did was they trained up lawyers in Rwanda. Now, funnily enough, many of these people that were trained up, these individuals, are now part of the Rwandan government, who we've just given over £120 million to take some refugees. Whether that actually happens or not in the future, we don't know. That money has already been earmarked or even sent over to Rwanda. We ain't getting it back. £120 million. And she had a clear conflict of interest. Rwanda, of all the 54 countries in Africa, why? Well, you walk into this one. Why would it be Rwanda? Why would she have friends? Why should she know people? Why would she have a conflict of interest? And that's just come out today. Now, I hope this video is out of date within a couple of days, because I hope that she walks. I hope that she is kicked out. Either she resigns as Home Secretary, or she's kicked out by Rishi Sunak. That would require Rishi Sunak growing something of a spine, which isn't going to happen anytime soon, I don't think. He'll put more pressure on her to resign. I don't think she will, because she's evil and very stupid. And yeah, not the best example of people who should be running this country right now. But actually, a very good example of the people who are running the country right now, running the country into the ground. I just hope that once she is out of office, once she is no longer an MP, people look at her track record, look at these things, these crimes that she has committed, and no one in their right mind ever employs her again. But you know, she's rich. She went to a private school. She went to Cambridge. Chance will be a fine thing.